let me begin by expressing my gratitude for being able to be a part of the World Unity Week this year. I feel blessed and it is an honor to be here today. Um, in my exploration of my inner self, I have come to realize that we are all one universal soul, one divine consciousness. And I am just so ecstatic to be connected with people who resonate with this. As a child, a lot of questions used to pop up in my head, like where do we come from? Where do we go when we die? Where is God? And does he really keep account of all our, good deeds and bad deeds? And this is something that we are told in literally almost every culture in the world. And on a lighter note, I used to wonder how does he manage to keep an account of all these things, because it seemed like a humongous task to me. So you see, from a very young age, we are always conversing with ourselves. We are always talking to ourselves. And so these questions just kept getting larger and larger in my head. And as I grew older, I was struggling more and more because, I really tried to fit myself into what they consider as normal. Uh, but, I just couldn't. And having had a master's degree and a well paid corporate job, I was still unhappy. And, I used to constantly ponder on what it is that I am seeking. So when I was younger, I used to think that, maybe if I have a lot of money, I would be happier. Or, if I get this, I would be happy. Or if I get that, I would be happy. And, when I did get all of it in a way that, I had a well paid job, I was financially secure. Um, but I still thought that something was missing, because I did not get that feeling of lasting happiness or a sense of fulfillment. And so I continued to wonder, if we all take birth just to study in order to get a good job and then spend the rest of our lives slogging to make ends meet. And that didn't really, it didn't quite add up for me. So I was convinced that there was definitely something more to our lives, a purpose much larger than, just making ends meet. So one fine day, I decided to stop and think if what I was doing made sense at all, because it was definitely not giving me a sense of fulfillment or even the happiness that I had been seeking all my life. And so I quit my job and I decided to take on this inner journey in order to search for the answers that I had been looking for years. And as I kept exploring, I met a lot of people who helped me gain more clarity. And I would definitely not say that I have it all sorted out. None of us can make those claims, but I did. Uh, and I also do realize that there exists no such state either. So it is all about growing and finding peace and calm within ourselves first, rather than looking for it outside of us. So I kept turning inwards through my meditations. I started feeling calmer and calmer and more secure about my place in this universe. And when my son was born in 2014, it was like a new birth for me as well. And as he grew, along with spending time with him, I also started spending more time with kids his age, because of his friends would come over a lot, and we would meet a lot of young children in the park, or everywhere that we went. And I found that that actually made me truly happy, and it gave me a certain sense of satisfaction to be around them. So, and as I interacted more and more with children, I heard them parroting their parents. So, while this may not seem like a very big deal, or something that is out of ordinary to most of us, but for me it was an eye opener, because I had just realized how beliefs are passed on from generation to generation. And I learned that the role parents play in shaping our personalities. So, it is then that I realized how we turn out to be the way we are, and how important our childhood conversations are in shaping our personalities and therefore our lives. So, the first 7 to 8 years of our child, that most of us tend to take so lightly, are literally the formative years of our lives. From the moment that we are born, we are absorbing things from our environment, and we are continuously learning, even without knowing it. So, if your parents have been telling you that you are not good at studies, you most likely won't be good at studies later, also, because that has become your belief, right? Or say, if you have seen your parents fighting a lot during your childhood, or most of your childhood, you are very likely going to find yourself in a similar situation in your life as well, as it becomes a part of your subconscious. And that's why the role of parents in our lives becomes so important. So I kept exploring more and more, every time finding cues in my meditations and being guided to look for answers. And as I mentioned before, I learned the importance of the first 7 years of our lives, where our conscious minds haven't been developed at all. What exists is a pure subconscious mind, and whatever is deposited there forms our beliefs, habits, and personalities, something that we would live by for our entire lives. This is huge. This is so, so important. And, it was further shocking for me to come across this information that our subconscious drives 95% of our lives. And that's why changing a habit or a belief becomes so difficult as we grow, because it's like this 5% of our conscious mind pushing against the 95%. And just by logic, I think we can tell who's going to win this battle. So realizing the importance that this early childhood has, and to guide parents into raising happy, kind, and successful children, I founded my organization, Bodhi Shishu. It is my vision to provide kids with life skills in the form of tools that they can use every time they find themselves troubled. I feel blessed to be in this capacity to cause a positive change in the lives of many children and parents. In the traditional education system, a huge importance is put on academic excellence, and emotional literacy is a nice to have, right? So, the important life skills like understanding how the mind works, how our beliefs are formed, how our habits are formed, how the importance of thoughts, the importance that thoughts play in our lives, in the sense of, attracting things in our lives, are completely out of syllabus. And that just seems unfair to me, because, all kids should be given the right tools in order to, help them lead happy, successful, joyous lives. And so this is a must, to teach them. I believe that any education without imparting this knowledge is incomplete. If kids are able to manage their emotions well, be kind, be compassionate, be empathetic, then they are more in control of their lives and are much better human beings, which is definitely more important than just scoring well in some exams. If we are giving them these skills, then we are truly empowering them. And I'm glad that parents and educators around the globe are now slowly changing the way they look at schooling. So, from my own experience, I can safely say that the most important tool we can give our children is meditation. And meditation has these myths around it, right? We are sorry. We are always waiting for something to go wrong in our lives to turn to meditation. It could be health, it could be relationships or stress, but sooner or later, for one thing or another, everyone has to turn to meditation. So, if we have this understanding, then why wait for something to go wrong? Why not immediately adapt to this practice? And similarly for kids, why wait? So since I founded Bodhi Shishu, I come across this question so often. Why do kids need meditation? Meditation for kids, that sounds absurd. Some people have also told me. And does it really? Like, um, when we were growing up, then sure, I understand that it would sound absurd. But with the needs of the generation today, kids are stressed, kids are burdened with overabundance and choice fatigue. Being used to instant gratification, they are mentally and emotionally troubled. The truth is, they lack compassion and kindness. The values that we used to pick up from home are not so common anymore, thanks to the internet revolution. People are spending more time online than with people around them. And this is true for kids too. And this is alarming because human interaction is becoming lesser and lesser. And of course, this pandemic is not helping at all. Most parents don't have the time to just sit, relax, and play with their kids. And that's why these tools, this information, needs to be formally imparted through our education system. And for that, parents and educators must believe in the importance of these tools. And that's why at Bodhi Shishu, we involve parents in our programs as well. Not only is this a huge bonding exercise for parents and kids, it also reinforces the importance of this practice in the child's mind. And then the other important aspect is practice. So we insist on practicing what has been taught over and over again until it becomes a habit, right? And that's how we learn the alphabet, that's how we learned our numbers, that's how anything is learned. We need to keep repeating it over and over again till it becomes a part of our blood and bones, right? So in our programs, we provide all the necessary material, all the necessary tools to be able to do so. We understand that we cannot expect kids to sit still with their eyes closed, holding a mudra, right? Truth be told, we cannot expect this of even adults. And so we design age appropriate programs and use fun tools like animations, stories, worksheets, activities, music, guided imagery to make our programs more adaptive. And kids love these programs, and even parents can learn a thing or two. So they're not only engaged, they're also acquiring this very important life skill in a fun way, right? And we are also very proud to be the only organization to teach emotional intelligence through meditation to kids through a structured program that can be accessed at the parent's convenient time from any device and from anywhere in the world. So, giving these tools to kids early on ensures that it becomes a part of their DNA. It becomes a way of life for them. They then don't have to make an effort to be happy. They would naturally be happy. They don't have to make an effort to be kind or empathetic or compassionate. They would automatically be those things as it would become a part of their subconscious. So, statistics show that 500 million people meditate worldwide every day. Now, this is a huge number. And they might have had different triggers to start meditation. It could be that they are looking for health or happiness or loving relationships or peace of mind. But in my experience of talking to people for over a decade, I have realized that what people are really looking for is to be wholesome, and meditation makes them feel wholesome. It is my belief that if we want to see any real change in the world, the work has to begin with children as they are our future. If we can give them tools and techniques that help them be compassionate and joyous, their lives, I would consider ourselves to be a success. So, for my closing sentence, I would like to quote Frederick Douglass, who says that it is easier to build strong children than repair broken adults. I believe this to be absolutely true, and I'm sure you all do as well. So, once again, I thank Marlene for giving me this opportunity. I feel truly blessed and honored. And with this, I'd like to sign off. Thank you. Namaste.